Where my mission is to help one human at a time. And I try to bring as much resources, as much information as I can for the average person out there going through their journey, curiosity, or just anything. They, stumble onto this algorithm and they see this podcast. And today I am here with Floyd. Floyd, a mystic warrior. And the reason why I asked him to come on is because I do something similar to what he does, but he does it to a grander scale. And Floyd, I got to be honest with you, I think this podcast I may lose friends over because it is something that is out there, the concept, the idea, but it is happening. And for those that know about it will probably want to know more about it. For those that never heard about it, this will be intriguing, and others are just going to be like, this is crazy talk and will not be interested. But it's time that people understand what's really happening in this world outside of just the energy changing and spiritual awakening, and then we're all trying to reach home per se. So Floyd, welcome. Thank you so much for coming. I really appreciate it. And I would like you to start off and introduce a little bit about yourself.
Well, thank you very much for inviting me. I've been told for a while I have to speak, and I've been holding back. And now it's time. And so I'm going to speak.
Yes.
I am, you could give me many titles, but for my spiritual work, I'm a hunter and I hunt evil. I've been hunting evil for 2 years now, and I can get into more detail about that. And my creator, God, Father, creator of everything, has given me skills, abilities, and the more victories that I have on the work that he wants me to do gives me more power. He gives me more gifts. And then he turns me loose, and I go and I do what he wants me to do. So that's my work. I watch over my mother, who's 98. I have a caregiver with her right now inside the house. I live in this tiny little room in the back, almost like a monk. And I have a tree business. I'm an arborist. And so what my main job is, I do work for the Lord. I work for Creator of all that is. And that's what I do. I hunt evil. And I was afraid when I first started it, and now they are afraid of me. And so I have discovered many truths which we've been lied to about our entire lives. And I will expose some of those truths. I'll bring them out. I'm probably going to have a lot of Christians upset with me. People that really read and believe everything in the Bible are going to be upset with me, I think. And that's where I'm at. And that's what I do. I had 5 battles this morning. I get up, I go into an altered state. I check out my targets. I can scan any being on the planet. Doesn't matter if you're on the other side of the planet or if you're right here in front of me. When I mean, I will check out 6 things in that person. I will check out their pureness of heart, their integrity, their armor of God, their ability to lie and manipulate the truth for their own greedy, selfish reasons, their ability to listen to evil and follow through with what evil whispers to them, their out of balance ego. Once I scan a person, then I will determine if they're one of 4 kinds of people. I trained under a shaman for 12 years. And so there are only 4 kinds of people that are on the planet. There are weak people, which are moralistically and ethically weak. There are good people. There are spiritual people. And there are bad or evil people. You're either one of the 4. And there's a certain variation that you can be within. And once I scan you, then I know what I'm dealing with. And if you're evil, I check out and see if you're by yourself or if you're in a what society calls a satanic cult. I hunt satanic cults left and right. Took one out this morning. Uh, a celebrity in a cult. And when I say take them out, I neutralize them. I take their power away. I track their spells, which are hidden in the underworld, which Christians call hell. And I will destroy their spells, destroy their gifts that they've been given. I will, if they have their deity that they pray to, I kill the deity. And if they have, all deities have massive armies. And I've been given the ability to wipe out their armies. I kill their armies. It's been boring for me. I probably have killed a billion, that's with a B, demons. I'm bored with it. And so now I'm learning to transmute many demons, many dark energies in the underworld are attracted to the light and they want to know what's going on. They're locked in, they're really treated poorly down below, and they want to come to the light. I actually have different allies of mine that were in darkness and didn't like the way they were being treated, asked if I would take them to the light. And I have 140,000 angels that Creator has given me. 90,000 guard my friends, my family, my men. I have 140,000 what are called thunder beings, which are in the indigenous shaman world that can be used for protection. I have 140,000 of them. 90,000 of them are for protecting my family, my loved ones, my colleagues, and my men. I keep 40,000 angels and I keep 40,000 thunder beings for battles that I go into. And I'm in battle a lot. So
let me ask you this, just for the person that's not really understanding or can really visualize, what are these battles? How do they occur? I mean, we're not out in the streets fighting with swords, like you're not out with a cape and doing Avenger stuff and out in the streets. This is all in the realm of meditation, of getting into the lower realm, so bringing the energy. And this is something that I'm not sure how you do it. I do it quite differently. But when you, I don't know if you lower the frequency to get to the lower realms, or can you just go back and forth at the high energy that you're at and go just like, time travel or whatever, go into that dimension?
okay. First of all, if you talk to a quantum physicist, the quantum physicist believes in what's called the string theory. In the string theory, quantum physicists believe that there are, in fact, overlapping dimensions that exist simultaneously with where we live, Earth, which has three dimensions: height, width, depth, and the passage of what we call time. And their debate is there are either 11, 12, or 26 other dimensions that interweave and overlap with this one that we're in, this one right here, Earth. And they're right. I don't call them, well, sometimes I call them dimensions. They're basically other realms. I will travel to those other realms by going into an altered state. I will close my eyes. I will clear myself on many levels. I've trained in several modalities under the guidance of the shaman, the medicine man, and I will just travel. I will travel and go. And I have three shock and awe warriors that are about 25 feet tall that were my enemies, that were spying on me, little bitty creepy guys inside of me. And once I found out that they were there and they were treated poorly and they were not giving all the truthful information to me, to a news agency that was in the underworld being hell, been lied to about what hell is. Hell is not what we've been told it is. It's not a place that Creator created to send you to if you've been a bad boy or a bad girl to punish you. No, it is a fortress of evil. There are many deities, powerful deities that exist in the underworld, along with their armies, many demons, and they used to have a big area where they had souls that were trapped. Uh, Satanic cults know how to strip the soul from a person and then take it to the underworld. When they take it to the underworld, they're imprisoned and they are used to power the underworld. I've slowly discovered this. I've never read any of this stuff. Spirit decides to show me, whisper to me, and teach me. When I say the word spirit, I mean creator of all that is, angels, my guides, my ancestors, combination of all those beings and more. They have whispered to me, they've spoken to me, uh, and guided me along. And there are goddesses that have helped me also. There are 4 goddesses that have helped me. One is currently helping me now. She's actually listening in on the conversation. And so I just go. I go. It's not just, but I have to be safe. And I do a lot of preparation. It takes about a week preparation before I go because I didn't want to be discovered. I am now known, and that's why I'm coming out because they know me, they know who I am, they haven't been able to figure me out, and they're still trying to figure me out how I work, and I keep that secret. I keep how I destroy them, how I transmute them, how I get through their armor, how I can read what their defenses are, and how they're going to react when I come in. So I don't know. I just said a lot. You want to question me? You want
Well,
to ask me?
yeah, I was just gonna do something like relatable. So I have seen these humans, that walk around what I call like real life zombies. I've experienced them where they look at you, they seem to follow you, right? And so you feel it, you sense it, you turn, and they're right there wherever direction you go. And these are actual in the physical world, in on the earth, on the 3D as we know it. You look at them and they have their eyes, their eyes are super black, like black balls of onyx or obsidian, just shiny. And then you can look right through them and they look soulless, right? And they're staring at you. And I know when I see that, when I have seen that, I'm like, okay, this person has been somehow, I don't want to use the word possessed. That's not the actual word, but attached, by a darker entity. And then when you approach them and say, how may I help you? Do you need help? So you come from an act of kindness, they just start backing away, backing away, backing away. So there's also what I've experienced in the 3D, in this physical world. And it's probably, as the light goes brighter, so does the darkness, right? So we're gonna end up meeting each other face to face in the physical world. Um, this they're coming out more, I think, and we need to approach it with more curiosity and lack of fear, and approach them with how may I help you, because to me, from my experience, it seems like they don't know how to handle when you come from a place of help and kindness. What are your thoughts on that?
First, I don't have that gift that you've got where you feel or sense that there are these zombie like people around you. I do not have that gift. And so I don't turn and see or feel. I can scan. I will scan a person, and uh, everything you said is true. Eventually, all of this is coming into the third dimension. War has already started. We're at war. Okay. Period. War has started. Um, the declaration of war, in my estimation, I've been at secret war, guerrilla warfare with them in hell, which is, as I said, a fortress of darkness. Um, but we're at war, and they really declared it. Remember, I said I kill their deities. I've got dates, I've got times where I've gone down and I've hunted some of their worst deities. And the one that was probably the biggest one that I wiped out and killed was a one called Baphomet. And I didn't realize the things that I would set in motion when I killed him. There were others before him, and I've got my notes behind me. But when I took Baphomet out on I've got the date. When I killed him and wiped out, he had like 5 or 6 million an army. I did not realize what I was going to set in motion, and that deity was so revered by the underworld, and so many politicians and so many celebrities worship him and do sacrifice to him. Sacrifice meaning sacrifice human beings. Um, and that area where he was at was sacred in their eyes. 3 days later, the attack came on Maui. I didn't know it, but I found out about it after it happened. And that was not some accidental fire by electrical lines being down, uh, touching dry brush. No, that was high energy weapon systems that were activated. And it was done to hit that part of Maui, which was a very sacred and holy place. They did tit for tat. And I was devastated, the loss of lives. The people in charge over there have been corrupted, and are many of them are not even humans. They are shape shifting reptilians, and they covered up the number of dead people. They in the news, if you check, they'll say 100 and 20, 30, 40, 50. It's over 5,000. I've tracked those souls to where they were imprisoned in the underworld, and well, I don't know how to rescue a soul, but I can sure protect the angels that go down. So I work with Archangel Michael, who has gone down with large numbers of angels to rescue. That was my first beginning to rescue those 5,000. Then I started finding square miles of trapped souls in the underworld, and I would go and focus every Sunday at 12 noon, which seems to be the day of the Lord, and 12 noon, where the sun is at its strongest. I would go down and take and hit a square mile with my abilities, set up protection, and have Michael go with large numbers of angels, Archangel Michael, and rescue those souls. Then next week, I would find 2 square miles. And then I would go in and on Sunday, next Sunday at 12, go in and hit that 2 square miles. Then I started taking out 1 square mile and 2 square miles. Then I started taking out 2 square miles at the same time, and I increased the numbers and set up protection for Michael's angels to go in, for his legions of angels to go in and get those souls out. Then it eventually led to massive, massive soul rescue. I found 100-mile circle that had trapped souls. Incidentally, I'm going to back up. These trapped souls come from these satanic cults. They know how to extract the soul from a person, and they get their brownie points by taking and keeping up a count of constantly feeding souls that are trapped. And then there was a generator, which I destroyed, which would suck the energy out of the souls and power the underworld. And there was a huge, massive, coordinated rescue attempt with Michael, Archangel Michael, myself, my shock and awe warriors, my abilities, and I would go down and set up complete protection from the underworld to heaven. And Michael would then send down. He sent down 200 million angels on a huge, massive rescue mission, which was successful. And when the mission was over, my 3 shock and awe warriors and myself went to the generator, which I had already set up for destruction, and we destroyed the generator, and then we blew out the ground. So 100-mile circle just collapsed into the abyss, into darkness, into hell, the underworld. And those maybe a billion. I get tired of maybe a billion souls were rescued. Souls are extracted by satanic cults, and what happens when you take the soul out of a person, you're not destroying it, you're using it, abusing it, and those souls are taken from poor innocent people. One was my daughter, and what happens when you have a soul, when your soul is taken out, a soul is only one of your 18 bodies. There's your etheric body, your crystalline body, your spiritual body, your intellectual body. There's all these other bodies. We're a very complex being, and our high self, of course, who is the real whatever we are. And when you extract the soul from a person, they become unable to make common decisions, logical decisions. They can't get up in the morning at time to go to work. They fall out with their family. They become homeless. And so that's why there's this massive number of homeless people. It's not because of some outbreak of schizophrenia or some unbelievable increase in mental illness. It is because their souls have been stolen and they can't make proper decisions anymore, live their normal lives. They become homeless. That's why there are so many homeless people. That's the real reason. There is some mental illness, there is some schizophrenia, but the real reason is because their souls have been stolen, and that's why they've been out of balance. So,
And just what you just said about the souls, that they reuse them, is true, because again, we're energy, and energy cannot be created nor destroyed, but it can be reused, manipulated in some way, shape, or form. And when I have done similar work to you, but mine is just to transition those souls that are ready to move. um you're right, they have no clue. They are roaming around, and they have like assignments. They're just told what to do, and they do it. Most of these souls, or that are doing the bad things, the evil things, or whatever you want to classify them as, really have no clue why they're doing it, but they know that they shouldn't be doing it, because within them is their higher self still, that knows the truth, that knows the light. And so it comes it's very interesting when you finally approach them, and you're like, you have a choice, you don't have to stay here. And they look at you, or in me, at least in me, when I do this, they're like, what, really? I don't have to stay here? They're just completely lost.
yeah,
A lot of
yeah,
them are completely lost.
yeah. They don't know. I can tell you. I'll tell you another. It's kind of a complex story. The satanic cults, one of the things that they will do or have been able to do is the worst of the worst, the ones that are really the most evil, can train and become what's called a psychic assassin. And psychic assassins, what you do is, if you're in a cult and you're a really naughty girl or naughty boy and you qualify as being super naughty, you'll sit in your chair or your lounge or your couch, and you will leave your body and you will go into the underworld. And there was a academy that was in the underworld. I found it, I discovered it, and I watched it. I like I say, I'm a hunter, and I stalked this academy. It was a 3-story structure. The first level was for beginning students. There were 7,000 instructors. Hold on, I want to get my numbers right. I'd have to look up my numbers. There were 1,000 instructors on the first level, and that was for beginning students. There were 1,000 instructors on the second level. That was for intermediate students. There were 1,000 instructors on the third level. That was for advanced students. Then there was a separate building that was for another 1,000 instructors, and that was for advanced students who were going to be trained to be teachers. And each teacher on each level had 7 pupils. And what they would do, this is what really upset me. When I found out what was going on, they would teach them, and then they would say, okay, let's go up wherever. Let's go to the United Kingdom. Let's go to Greece. Let's go to United States. Let's go to Russia. Okay, now we're going to, and the people have no idea, humans walking around have no idea that they have these beings that are in etheric bodies that you can't see, well, I can sense them now. And they will look, and the instructor will point out a person who's at their desk in some country doing their work in the middle of the afternoon, and the instructor will say, okay, and they work in teams of 2 or 3 usually. I found them working up to as many as 6. And the instructor will say, okay, focus on that guy at his desk and give him a heart attack. And the poor guy at the desk has a heart attack, dies. Autopsy shows one of 3 things. It shows the muscle, the signals weren't being properly sent to the muscle to make it work, or some clogged plumbing problem, or I can't even remember what the third reason was. One of 3 reasons the heart fails and the person dies. And so that's why if you go to the World Health Organization and you look, what the number 1 killer across the entire country, the entire world, is what's called heart disease. That's a lie. That is an absolute lie. That's an exaggeration. They say, well, you don't exercise enough. Well, your cholesterol level is too high. You have too much stress in your life. Those are some factors, but that is not why heart disease is the number 1 killer. It's these flipping psychic assassins that were going and practicing on us like guinea pigs. They would just go up and pick young people out in the field doing exercise. Amar Hamlin, a football player, I'm responsible for bringing him back. It really upset me. I'll get into Amar Hamlin, football player on Monday Night Football. I don't like football. I don't like sports, but I just happened to see a football player collapse, quote unquote, from a heart attack on the field while he was on Monday Night Football. It was not. He was under attack by 6 psychic assassins from a jealous aunt. I track down the assassins. I kill them. I don't like assassins. So I took it personal when they were starting to go after my grandchildren. When I would go out, when I would sit here in my room, close my eyes, go into my state, get ready to go and do some attacking, I check and see. I'm allowed to see a little bit of the future of what they're going to do. How are they going to come back? How are they going to defend themselves? I got to tell you, the satanic cults, they are bullies and they're cowards. They're the biggest crybabies, because when you take them on with power, with God's light, with God's divine light, and you kick the crap out of them, they drop to their knees, they cry to their deity, they cry to the underworld. And at first, when this was happening and I was doing it, the underworld would send up all sorts of armies at me to get me, and I would just slaughter them all. And they finally got used to, oh, shoot, we better shut up and not come up to try and defend this satanic cult. So now the satanic cults, they don't even cry to the underworld. If they try, if they got a deity, ooh, thank you. I go hunt that sucker down and I kill him. And I'm not nice when I kill him. They're never, very rare are they alone. They're usually
you just sounded, sorry to cut you off, but you just sounded what you just said about the bully sounded something from the Emerald Tablets, where Thoth goes to the land of Chem because he took the people from Atlantis to take them somewhere safe. So he took them to the land of Chem, which is now Egypt, and there were people already there. I believe there were some people already there, and I'm like drawing a blank right now. But they were coming to ambush him, and he had a staff that he just pounded the staff, and it was like just the light of God, probably some sort of like technology that we don't know, but it froze those people and it brought them down to their knees because they saw the power of the light. They saw the power of, you must obey me now because we are here to live, and you're not going to bully us anymore. And it was a change perspective. But you're right when you said about the bullies and their cowards. When you show them that fierceness, that you're not afraid, it will bring them down to their knees. And everybody's a part of this. When you're saying spiritual warfare, I mean, I don't know if people understand what the spiritual warfare is. It's not just the programming that we get from TV, whatever we have on social media and stuff. But I do lucid dreaming, a lot of lucid dreaming, astral projection, and I'm always being taken to various places, Egypt or intergalactic. And I was shown that the CIA is at a fast pace trying to train these people to station them via remote viewing in protective areas like Antarctica and other places that we should not have any line of sight. And as I was there, I was watching the CIA agent, and I was being led and I was being told that right now, we're outnumbering them, because even the CIA agents are starting to awaken and they see that it's corrupt. And so while that's happening, they're trying to backfill on their on government agents, just so they can keep, their cults, their, whatever projects they're working on, secret and protected. But we're on the rise here, slowly but surely. We're on the rise.
I believe what you say is true. I can tell you that I am. I used to be a hardcore Republican. I used to be a gun owner. I had quite a collection, and I was a very aggressive male, the exact opposite of what I used to be. But I have checked, I've scanned the government already. I've scanned the White House. There are so many reptilians. Reptilians are shapeshifters. And
Mhm.
if a person wants to find out about shapeshifters, they can also be called skinwalkers. All you have to do is spend some time looking and researching the Navajo Reservation. Navajo Reservation, that is very, very common in the Navajo Reservation, and they're terrified to speak about it. They don't want to talk about it because if you talk, uh, you can become dead, and you not only dead, but they'll come and take your soul. And so these are these are shapeshifters. Reptilians are shapeshifters, and there are so many of them in the government. So many of them in the government. You said the CIA. The head of the CIA is a reptilian. The head of the FBI is a reptilian. I've gone through all of the agencies, and they're all reptilian except the DEA, which I have special protection around, the NSA, which I have special protection around, and the group that's helping to hold the United States together are the Joint Chiefs of Staff. All of those that run the military, the Army, the Navy, the Marines, uh, uh, all of the branches of the military are the most moral and the most intelligent of all of them. They are the ones that are in a secret war with reptilians. And the rest of the reptilians, I'm telling you, the White House, I voted for Biden. I voted for Kamala Harris. Okay. Biden is a clone, guaranteed. And when that clone starts to wear out, they just bring in another one that's a little bit fresher so he doesn't sound so stupid. And Kamala Harris is not a human being. Kamala Harris is a reptilian. And the whole, what do you call it? The cabinet, they're all reptilians. I've already looked at major companies in the United States, and yeah, good. They're starting to lose it. Good. I could give a crap. They had major plans for major destruction with that eclipse that just took place with the moon. I was sweating bullets. I lost 21 pounds, and I looked and I searched and I hunted, and they were going to enact some horrible, horrible, massive destructions across the entire world by activating the most powerful weapon systems that they have in the South Pole. When they first activated it, accidentally caused 2 earthquakes in New Zealand. Now they've got it refined. And these reptilians are so flippin' clever. What they did was they took and found psychopaths, and they put psychopaths in charge of the buttons and the switches and the levers to activate these weapon systems, so that when some high-ranking politician calls them up and says, oh, we want you to activate and destroy Los Angeles, New York, San Francisco, Beijing, Rome, whatever countries they want, we want earthquakes to happen while the whole eclipse is going on. I had to hunt down those psychopaths. There were 24 of them, and bring them all to neutral. I'm not going to talk in detail about how that was done. And they made me sweat bullets because they kept the last 8 hidden from me. They really made me sweat bullets. I'm telling you, I lost 21 pounds. I was right to the last, I think, till 3 days before the full moon. That's when I took care of everything. So I thought. But then they also had a plan with CERN, CERN, which is the large atomic collider, the largest one in the world, in Geneva, located between France and Switzerland. They were going to do some evil stuff there, and I had to step in on that particular day of the full eclipse and sit at that desk behind me and focus all of God's light that He gave me to use on their technology to thwart whatever they were going to do. If it was open up some sort of wormhole or create the God particle or whatever they said they were going to do, I stopped that from happening. Thank God. Thank you, God. I prayed to Him so much to help me do this. So I've stepped in and crushed their plans for massive, massive destruction on this planet. There was one other event that I took care of too. Oh, incidentally, I was talking about their academy where they train assassins, the three-story building and the one-story building. I killed all of the assassins and I killed all of the instructors one day, but I didn't even know how powerful it was going to be. There was so much light used that it destroyed and made that entire three-story structure in the one building demolished. And it glows with light now. And the beings that are down there are walking around looking, and they can't figure out what could have done this. And why is it glowing white? Because it's dark in the underworld. It's not lit. There's no fire. There's no, like we've been taught, ooh, stay away from hell. Oh, you want to be a good little boy, a good little girl, don't go there. Well, it's all been done to keep any of us who develop our spiritual skills to the point where we can journey, which is what a medicine man or medicine woman calls it. Some people call it astral projection. I personally don't believe I can astral project, but I can sure journey. And so I stopped that. I destroyed that complex, but there were still a lot of psychic assassins that are not human beings. Remember, I told you a naughty boy and girl who qualifies can journey down below, be trained, and come back, and then they can use that skill back here. Well, in the underworld, I tracked them, there were 400 million psychic assassins who were demonics. And I didn't like them being around. And so, especially when they started to target my grandchildren, and I had to kill them to save my grandchildren, they're filthy. They're filthy. Anyways, I went and targeted their 400 million psychic assassins down below, and I killed all of them. I wiped them completely out. And I'm a simple guy. My celebration is a plate of Doritos with some melted Swiss cheese and an ice cold Dr. Pepper. Okay, that's my celebration. And I'm celebrating, and then Spirit talks to me, and they really freaked me out. They just said, congratulations, you did your work. If you had failed, just to let you know, if you had failed in October of 2023, this happened about 2 months before October. If you had failed, the 400 million psychic assassins were coming up, and they were going to wipe out somewhere between 30 to 60% of the human population. And I just went, what? And I went into post-trauma like a military individual is. I could not stop my hands from shaking. What if I had failed? What if I had failed? Oh my God, I wasn't told what was at stake. And I couldn't stop my hands from shaking. And I could not walk looking straight ahead. I had to walk with my head down. And I was constantly going over in my mind, what if I had failed? Oh my God, I was given such a responsibility. What if I had failed? And then trees are allies. And I went over, you can do this, anybody can do this with a tree. You can ask it to absorb your grief and sorrow if you've lost a dog, your dog has died, or your animal has died, or your husband has died. I've done it with my sister, whose husband killed himself. I've done it with like 30 women. Members of their family die. I can walk you over to a tree. This is shaman, the medicine man taught me. You introduce yourself to the tree and you ask it if it will please absorb your grief and sorrow, and you would appreciate it. And then you touch the tree and you hold your hand on the tree. It takes about 3 minutes, and it'll suck all of the grief and sorrow out of you, and it'll suck it up into the branches, into the leaves, and then it comes right back into the trunk and it goes down into the ground, into Mother Earth. And so I couldn't stand. I was 2 days. I was walking around. If I went to speak with a person, I had to put my hands in my pocket because I didn't want them to see my hands shaking. And then I would speak with them. It was a client talking about their trees to trim. And I finally went over to the neighbor's tree in front and I went up to the parkway and I asked it to absorb my grief and sorrow and it sucked it right out of me. And then I was like not post-traumatized anymore.
uh, do you think there are other people doing the same thing as you?
That's a good question. Very good question. Um, I don't know. I have not been put in contact with them yet. I do know that God has people working. I clean my desk one day. That desk over there, I do my spiritual work from, and I do my tree business from, and I have scraps of paper that are it's just mess. And I'm cleaning off the desk, and I'm like, oh, that's 6 months of notes. I don't need that. That's old. Oh, this is something spiritual I've got to keep. And I come across a piece of paper that's folded up, and I go, I wonder what I wrote here. And I open it up, and I read it. It's a full letter, and it's my writing. I wrote it, and I have no memory of writing it. And it's a letter from God. God wrote, channeled through me, and wrote on the letter his plans of what he's got in store and how he has his people in play, how he's activated me, he's activated you, and he's activating more people. And I don't know the answer to your question. I don't think that there's anybody that does it on the level that I do it at. So I know there are other people, and there are other people coming in, and this will be the biggest battle that has ever taken place on this planet. Gods, which I thought were a fantasy. I thought, oh, look at this. A nice story about Zeus, a nice story about the Greek gods, a nice story about the Hindu gods, a nice story about, oh, it's what a fantasy. Good, great creativity in their mind. Egyptian gods and goddesses. Creator is bringing in gods and goddesses who will manifest a body for themselves to come into, and they will come into this planet and they're going to fight beside us against evil. This is a big deal. I'm telling you, this is big. I would have never believed this 10 years ago. I would think this guy talking on that TV screen, wherever this is going to be shown, that guy's really, wow, he's really way out of it. No, it's true. Gods and goddesses are coming in to help us against evil.
No. I love that I'm having this conversation with you because I'm seeing, and I think I shared with you as far as I was shown why we cannot go into the higher realms, how it would completely destroy our bodies and the physical pain that I endured as I'm watching myself go through this, going into a different dimension. But um, Thoth is my ascended master, and I know that they can come in at any time in any human body, and they are ready for it. Right now, I think they're just putting the pieces in play. um it's a fine game of chess, right? So
Yeah.
everything has to be slow, methodical, very well thought out with all the pieces in play. And I don't know, to me it's exciting, but to your point, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, if you would have told me that we were going to have this conversation, that I'm going to be having these experiences, I'd be like, right, under what drug would I be under to have this? Because it's like, it's not normal. I don't go around talking to regular people saying, hey, so who'd you talk to today? Did you talk to Zeus? What did Zeus have to say to you? Like you don't do that. But more and more of us are coming out in a weird way. It's like we have our own coming out of the closet, which is to me, it's very funny, interesting, and I just love it. So hearing what you do just actually settles my mind, because I'm like, if I feel like validated that this is really happening, I'm pretty sure other people are going to feel validated as well, but we just stay quiet because we're afraid, and it's still a weird thing to talk about.
Yeah, no, no. cannot. It's happening. You can't stop it. Creator is beyond a master chess player, beyond a master Go player. He's got everything lined up, and he already has seen it, and he's activated us, and we're working along, and we're on our way. And this is big. This is big. This this evil is not. This evil should not exist on this planet, and that's one of the things Jesus told me. I'm not a Bible thumper. I don't read the Bible. I've never really read the Bible, maybe 5 or 6 pages in the Bible. And I used to study what is it, the Quran, just to study what I perceived when I was gun-toting Republican as Muslim enemies. I studied the Quran and Simon Rushdie's satanic verses, and no, this is coming. It's happening. It's on its way, and can't be stopped. And God, He has a plan. It's harsh cleansing, and it's being done. And you're right. I would never believe in my wildest dreams that any of this is real. It's real, and it's coming. You can't stop it. It's on its way. And
So let me ask you this. Well, a couple of things. I don't want people to think that, it's doom and gloom. Not everybody's going to be subjected to this. If you have no idea what's happening, move on with your day, right? This is just additional information of what other people are going through and experiencing and doing for the rest of the world, basically. But how did you find out? At what point did you know that this was your mission, that you could do this?
look, I was a schmuck. I grew up my whole life a very aggressive male. I'm talking hand-to-hand combat instructor. I hated men. I did not like men. I like. I was a womanizer. Um, I liked to play with two women at the same time. I rode my street bikes. I rode my dirt bikes. I practiced with my sniper rifle. I practiced with my elephant gun, my assault rifles. Uh, I'm talking a testosterone aggressive male. And one day I was just doing a bid in my tree business. I was doing a bid in the San Fernando Valley. I was under a tree, and a branch started moving back and forth. And I was stunned. I looked at this. It was impossible. The branch was moving about 14 inches to 12 inches, and it wouldn't stop. No breeze. 4 minutes, I looked for a breeze, and then I pointed my finger at it with the client to get his attention, and it stopped. And it made me go, holy poo-poo, what is going on here? And it made me start to look, and it made me start to focus. Went to a meditation group. The women there didn't have, I was spending time with women. I didn't get answers. They told me, go to a psychic. I went to a psychic. The psychic told me some unbelievable things about myself. And I told him, you're crazy. I don't know anything about healing. I don't know anything about working with angels. I don't know anything about this battle of light against dark that I'm going to be a big player in. I don't know what you're talking about. You got the wrong guy. And then a shaman comes into the meditation group. Didn't even know what a shaman was. Girls were all excited. I was like, why are you girls so excited? Oh, the shaman is coming. The shaman is coming. I didn't even know what a shaman was. And I was like, oh, I got excited because the girls were getting excited. And then watch this, and watch this Lapone Apache. Here's this native indigenous man, got his hair almost to his waist, braided, wearing native regalia. And I talked to him, and he talked about, I had a heart problem, and I said, hey, I'm told I'm going to be a healer in a little while. Maybe I can help you. I was so stupid. I was so naive. And he just looks at me 1 solid minute. Can you imagine how uncomfortable this is? Person's just looking at you for 1 minute, doesn't say a word, and then turns and walks away. I'm like, wow, that was weird. And then 3 days later, he calls me back and says, "You're the white man that my father and I have been waiting for. We're going to teach you." And I go, "What?" And he goes, "You're the white man we've been waiting for. We're going to teach you. That's what we've been told." And I go, "Who told you?" And he says, "My dead grandmother, my dead mother, uh, three angels, and a higher being of light. We discussed you for 45 minutes. You're the guy." And so I'm like, okay. So I got adopted by an elder and his son, and then we started hanging out. And then that's when I would see miracles. He would walk up to someone in a mall and say, "Oh, you got a problem with your shoulder," and then demonstrate a mirror and say, "I can take it away." And then he would do it. And I'm like, what? And so my whole world twisted when that branch moved. And then I slowly started to learn and learn and learn. And then I started, Spirit would just give me gifts. I would be given a gift. Creator comes to me and talks to me, scares the bejesus out of me, says, "I got something for you." And I'm like, okay. And what you got? And then he told me what he was going to give me, and I didn't want it. I don't want something that powerful. And you don't argue with God. And he came to me as a male voice. I hear some people hear Creator as a female voice or genderless voice. I hear it as a man. And I accepted that. Don't argue with God. And I accepted that gift. And then as I learned these different modalities, and I started to shift away from fighting. I love to beat up men. Ooh, I love to beat up men. I love the fear in their eyes when some bigger, stronger, younger guy mess with me. I trained in JKD for Bruce Lee's process, extremely efficient. And I love to beat men up. And I didn't go looking for the fights, but I shifted from this real aggressive testosterone male. I was a dangerous man when I was a dangerous man. I used to, every New Year's, you know how you have a New Year's resolution? Oh, I'm going to go on a diet. I'm going to lose some weight. Oh, I'm going to not curse. Oh, you know how people have that? Every New Year's, you know what I would say? I would go, "I can't believe I haven't killed a man. I can't believe this whole year went by and I didn't kill someone." That's what my conversation was with myself. I was a violent, aggressive man. And all of that shifted once the shaman came in. All of that shifted and shifted. And then I began to be given gifts. I would wake up and I'd have a new ability. I have about 15 abilities right now, and maybe 16. And they began to grow. And now, I don't know, where did the switch? The switch probably was that branch moving under a tree. That was what shifted me. I was studying quantum physics at the time anyways, so it made, oh, this is from another dimension. This is from another realm. So that's probably when it happened 13 years ago. Did you?
Wow. And this all happened like you said, in the San Fernando Valley. For those of you that don't know, San Fernando Valley, that's just like the heart of Los Angeles, basically. You know.
Yep. San Fernando Valley.
Do
It
you,
was.
do you still train with a shaman, or do you still do any type of training?
We became enemies. We became.
What?
Oh yeah. He was a jealous man, and he had major heart surgery, and he left, and a walk-in came in and took his place, and the walk-in was a reptilian, and we became deadly enemies. And he tried to kill my mother. He tried to kill me. He tried to kill my foreman. He tried to destroy my business. And as a light worker, I didn't know how to fight back. All you could do is use the light, and you become a punching bag. I was a punching bag, and I just took it for almost 2 years, just recovering from being attacked, or having him do a paranormal attack on my brand new truck and try to set it on fire by short circuiting and cutting wires, freaking the mechanics out, absolutely freaking mechanics out, that would start looking and go, how can this be like this? This can't be bent. This can't be cut. It's covered. And so finally, a woman 12 years ago had done a reading on me that I had forgotten completely about. And she had said, you, Floyd, are going to come up with the most advanced healing uh, modality on the face of the planet. You will take and upgrade all healers uh, from like having a Model T Ford to a high performance BMW. Now, at that time, Teslas weren't out. Just 12 years ago is when this woman told me. And I was like, are you kidding me? I'm just beginning to learn this stuff. And now you're telling me I'm going to have to come up with the most advanced healing process modality in the world? I was like, nothing like putting pressure on somebody. Then I forgot about the girl. I forgot about what she said until I was in battle with this medicine man doing black magic. Oh my God, was he pulling things out of the. And then I thought, well, wait a second. I've been training for 12 years. Let's see. Now that I know what I know, let me see if I can come up with something. And I came up with something. And what did Dr. Jekyll do when he came up with his serum? He didn't try it on somebody. He tried it on himself. So I tried that healing modality on myself, and it didn't do anything. And I was thinking, huh, well, my heart's pretty pure. I can measure my heart. I can measure my pureness of heart, and I can scan myself. What happens if I do it to someone who has a black heart? So that healing process can be a weapon, and that's what I use. I turn it around and I focused it on that medicine man while sitting in that chair, and this chair, and I watch them. It's very painful, very, very, very painful. They all have seizures. They flop around like a fish out of water. They defecate in their pants. They pee in their pants. They vomit. Sometimes they bite their tongues really bad. When they come out of their seizure, all of their gifts are gone. All of their abilities are gone. All of their powers are gone. And so I basically castrated him. But then I didn't know he belonged to a group of 20. And so there were 19 that were just shocked that all his powers had been taken away and they couldn't get them back. Well, I destroyed their powers. I destroyed his powers. And so then I was at battle with 19 at the same time. They ganged up on me, and I slowly used the same healing, hurting process and wiped out the remaining 19. Not all at once, 5 at a time, 6 at a time, 3 at a time, and finally one, the strongest one. And I've got a formula now. I know my formula. It was a learning curve. So, and that's when I started hunting satanic cults. And that's when all of a sudden I'm watching YouTube and I'm like looking at, oh, the top 10 celebrities who are satanic cult worshipers. Well, maybe it's true, maybe it's not. Let me see. Let me scan. I'll write down the names of all the celebrities, and I'll take the first one and I'll scan them. Ooh, naughty boy. Naughty, naughty, naughty. Okay, I'm going to take your group out. And there's a specific way that satanic cults work and try to recruit celebrities, politicians, normal folks. And I know what that process, well, I think I know what that process is. And they shouldn't do it. So I took my first celebrity out, and then I took my second celebrity out, then I took my third celebrity out. And I kind of got bored with taking out celebrities. I took one out this morning. Naughty, 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 Marky. Shouldn't be doing what you're doing. So this morning I was up. Yeah, I had 5 battles this morning. So he's in my notes, and I expect his career to just like the others. So, anyways,
So
sorry.
let me ask you this. That modality that you have, right? That weapon that you
Yep.
have, how can that be used for healers, for light workers?
First of all, I won't tell you.
Okay.
I'm not gonna tell you. Light workers, I don't believe are ready for it yet. And I will have to think about how I would teach that I sure know how to use it as a weapon, and I have used it to help to heal tumors, brain damage, people that are dying. I have used it to help them, but I keep it close to my chest. I keep it close to my. I keep it close to my heart. Uh, it started with a gift from the goddess Athena. Athena gave me a gift, and it was from that gift that she gave. Well, Creator gave me too. Uh, that spun and grew and evolved into what I now know, which is nobody talks about. Only one of my pupils. I have four pupils. One is she is an LAPD police officer who's a Reiki master, and she knows what it is, but she doesn't know how to use it. And so, um, I don't know what else to say. Eventually, when I reach my full level, I'm not at my full level now. I'm getting there, but I'm not at my full level. When I reach my full level, then and the battle is over, and we have regained control of this planet, and then we're allowed. Then we're going to welcome in the aliens that are waiting to come in to greet us, because there are so many alien races out there waiting to come in to greet us to help us. Mm-hmm. But we're kind of like a child learning how to ride a 20 speed, 30 speed bicycle. We've got our training wheels on, and eventually when we get stronger and better, our training wheels will come off. And that parent that runs alongside of the bike while your daughter or your young son is learning how to ride, and we take our hands off the bike, let them ride. Okay, when we clean this planet up, when we have the battle and the planet is cleaned up, then it's going to be a whole shift of the way. There's not going to be this popularity contest that we've got going on with the election of politicians. That ain't going to happen. There are people lined up. They don't even know it. There are people lined up that will be working in committees and councils to coordinate with the aliens that come in to help us and throw us into whatever you want to call it, the 25th century, the 26th century, the 27th century, and get rid of these outdated abilities to drive our cars and power our houses. More Tesla-like information knowledge. So, sorry, I go off on all sorts of tangents. I don't even remember what.
No, it totally makes sense, because you are right about the other alien species. They part of the contract, part of the deal was that they can't intervene, right? So they're just watching, and for those who are willing to listen, they'll guide us with permission. They work off permission, so everything is a permission slip,
They,
for
they have
abilities.
they have come in to help us at times where if they hadn't helped us, we would be really messed up. They've come in to stop nuclear explosions from happening, nuclear
Yes.
war. They've come in to divert a huge asteroid that was going to come really close to the Earth, that these reptilians had manipulated to kill a lot of people. They step in and help when there's something really, really, really super big that's going to happen. Getting rid
I
of the
think
nuclear.
they stepped in for CERN at one point, from my understanding.
Oh, I didn't know. I didn't know that.
When they created the God particle, they did a disruption where a lot of our dimensions collapsed. And I think they kind of intervene on that part.
Oh, that's information for me. I did not know that.
That's the word on the street. That's what I got.
Okay.
From the spiritual street.
Are you talking about the CERN incident that just happened with the full moon?
That I did not know about recent CERN incident. This was a while ago.
Okay, well they were going to mess us up. That's why I had to jump in on the day of the eclipse at noon and focus God's light and love and energy on their technical equipment to totally mess it up so they couldn't do whatever they were going to do. I don't know if it was to create God particle, open up a wormhole or what, but whatever it was going to be was not good for the humans on the planet. Mm-hmm. So I didn't know about this other incident with CERN in the past. Don't know. I hadn't even heard about CERN or paid attention until my pupil brought it to my attention like a week before the, maybe less than a week before the full moon. And then I realized, oh my God, this is the other battle I got to fight. Okay. So, anyways, what else you got to
Yeah,
ask me?
there's a lot of work happening. They are trying to create the wormhole. The Gateway experience is fully published now, so it gives people the abilities to learn how to do what the government was being trained to do, which is mind manipulation, etheric
Oh,
travel, esoteric stuff, metaphysical, like the whole thing. And that's fully blown government. It's wide open. Everyone can download the whole program now or purchase it, whatever the case may be. I don't want to promote copywriting, so go buy the program by Gateway Experience, the Monroe Institute. um but I think one of the things that I talked about before with you was I was told that the challenges are going to be getting harder, at least from my experiences. And I think you also resonated with that you got the same message that it's going to get harder, the challenges.
absolutely.
And
Absolutely. The challenges, it's going to be the battles I've been told that I'll be engaging in are going to be worse and bigger and stronger. I am currently making a weapon of light to be used against the dark, and they don't want me to make it. They're trying everything they can to throw the monkey wrench in my works. I've been collecting things for this. Did you ever see Wonder Woman? Did you ever see the movie Wonder Woman by any chance?
oh my gosh, you are talking about, look at my Dickie Wonder Woman.
There.
I
I got,
grew up with Wonder Woman.
there's a picture of her on the wall behind me. She's one of my heroes. Your tribe is amazing. Okay. I've got, anyways. Um, where was I? Wonder Woman, uh, female warriors. Oh, darn it, I lost my train of thought. Um,
We were talking about challenges getting harder.
oh, yes. there will, it's going to be made into a bracelet armband that's going to go completely across my forearm. And it's going to have all sorts of claws and teeth hooked into it that, and crystals that I've collected for 8 years. I've collected things, uh, prehistoric bee in a couple of drops of amber, pieces of fragment from outer space, a specific cross to, let's not forget Jesus and his part in his role, except that, oh, I'm going to upset the Christians. Uh, they all believe that Christ is coming back. That's not true. What is true is that a descendant of his is coming back. A descendant? What do you mean a descendant? Where does it say in the Bible that he had children? Well, he did with Mary
Mm-hmm.
Magdalene. And Christ could activate the laws of the universe, hence walk on water, activating the laws of physics, reproduce bread, fish, change water into wine, raise the dead. He activated the laws of life and death. He activated the laws of healing. He activated the laws of physics because he had a third strand. Humans have two strands in their DNA. Jesus had three. He had a third strand. And that strand has been passed on by his descendants. And it is now, and it was never activated. It wasn't the right time. And all of those descendants be activated, but now is the time. And so he is going to have one of his descendants who has three strands who will control the laws of the universe way beyond what Jesus was able to do and start to make things right here and start to get rid of nuclear weapons, start to engage in battle, greater battles in mind with darkness. And so that's who's coming in. Sorry, Christians, it ain't JC, it's a descendant of his. So
But you're on point. Have you heard of Billy Carson by chance? He's a podcast influencer.
no.
Okay, so he had, I remember watching this one segment where he talks about Jesus has descendants and they're here walking on this planet. So what you're saying is on point. What other, uh, you know, I guess, professional scientists, whatever you may call it, channelers, that you're on point with what you're saying, is that they does have descendants. I think Bashar also um, stated this a while ago, one of the channeled messages that he gave out. So you're on point. Even though you're not aware of these other, YouTube influencers or what have
Uh,
you, what you just said is an accurate statement.
well, I know I can, if you hook me up to a lie detector, sorry, I'm not a sociopath or a psychopath, so I can't mask my emotions. If you were to hook me up to a lie detector, everything I've said is the truth.
Hmm.
And
And
there's
I'm
more.
validating you, and I consider myself somewhat normal. I'm just as
Well,
weird as you.
we're doing what medicine men and medicine women call the earth walk. All of us are doing the earth walk. We are actors walking as a hairdresser, as a garbage collector, as a lawyer, as a doctor, doing our earth walk. We are doing what we agreed to do, and becoming a spiritual individual, becoming a spiritual lawyer, becoming a channeler, whatever that is, whatever combination of things, we're on our earth walk, and we're experiencing all of these things: the taste of food and what it's like to intimate with someone else, and what it feels like to wear good clothes and do your nails, which might need to be done, and do your hair up and do all those things that make you feel good. Eat that food. So yeah, we're all involved in the Earth Walk, all of us. I don't care who
Yes.
you are, and then eventually this will wear out. Well, incidentally, there's three models. I don't know if you knew that or not. There's three models that human race has been given. Um, there's the normal standard model, which is the majority of the population, have the 60-year model, which is supposed to last 60 years. But because of medicines and surgery and medical advancements, that will go into your 80s and 90s. That's normal. That's the majority of the population. Then there is a more deluxe model. The deluxe model is a model that will last 120 years. And it can take more impact. It can take more, it can recover from illness faster. Um, God has plans for those more advanced models. Um, I have that model. I have the 120-year model. I already know. I've known for a long time I will die at 128, and I will no longer be needed or of service to humanity at 93. I'll be done at 93 with having to do my work. I'm working my way out of a job, is what I'm doing by taking on um, satanic cults and by taking on reptilians and by taking on anything that's dark or negative. And I'm glad, boy, am I going to be glad when I work myself out of a job. Um, but then there's the 150-year model, and I met one. And I believe those are the ones that are to be our leaders. I believe those are the ones that will work in committees and councils and coordinate the changeovers that are going to be needed in the oil industry, in the electric industry, the power industry, to keep them going, remove their ability to generate power that way, and transition into the creation of devices that will draw energy out of the air to run your car, to power your house. And those 150-year models, I believe, are the ones that are going to be coordinating with the aliens, best incorporate their technology with what we need to clean up our environment, get Mother Earth back to a balanced, healthy position and state, and for us to live the life the way that we're supposed to, moving into the tapestry of God's light and love. So there's three models, and I know that to be true. And that's it.
No, I know I am the 121, 122 model. I've said that since I was a child. I
Did you?
have
Okay.
I have also physically experienced the molecular DNA manipulation. of how they're expanding how they're expanding me at the cellular level to ensure that I get to that age range. I hardly ever get sick.
Yeah.
I'm, there's a difference. There's a difference from those three models. You can definitely tell who's going to be in the, it's like just everything genetically is pure clean. I go to the doctor and they're like, we don't want to give you a physical because there's no point. You're healthier than a 20-year-old, right? Um, so
Mhm.
I already know that I'm that model right there, which is why I think this is why I've been giving so many gifts to work with. um those challenges that we were talking about earlier, like after I spoke to you, I had an immediate message. I need to get this type of dagger. I need to do this, and this person has to bless it, and this is what I'm going to do with it. So I have to now search for that dagger, you know, and then get it, have a ceremony done to it. So as I go into my own other challenging battles that are probably going to be completely different than what I've been experiencing, up to now. I don't know what it's going to look like or entail, but I just got to be ready for everything.
Probably, just a suggestion, probably, because I have a crystal that I use as a weapon. I bond with it. I sleep. You can't see it, but see that red satin cloth? That's my shelf with all of my notes of everything. Behind it is a recliner. I don't sleep in a bed. I don't have room for a bed here. I sleep in a recliner that I bonded with a buffalo hide. So there's a buffalo hide. I sleep in my recliner. And let's see, where were we talking? My brain is gone. Uh, the
Daggers.
daggers. Oh, yes. I have two bounty hunters, crystals for me. I call them my bounty hunters. And they are so sensitive. They go to Tucson, which you know is the biggest gem show in the world, once a year in the entire month of January. And I will give them, let's say, $10,000. And then 2,000 they keep for themselves as the finder's fee. And they'll look for certain crystals that I'll be told, keep your eyes open for this or that. And then all of a sudden they'll come up with something. Oh, Spirit told us that you're supposed to take this. And I've got one over there. And it's bonded with me. It sleeps against my left thigh. It's probably 2 feet long. If you want, I'll go grab it and show it to you. I call it Excalibur. And I take that when I go into battle. I will hold it in my hands, sitting at that table, which I believe you will do with your dagger. And then when you go into your altered state and you go where you need to make justice or bring about justice or balance things out, physically here, you'll be holding it in your hand, but
Mm-hmm.
it will interdimensionally travel with you into the other realms and you can use it. And I cut them in half. I cut their heads off. I gut them. Deities, not demons. Demons are so easy for me to kill. That's a whole other thing. But that that is my baby. It's a flamethrower of light and love. I can take it and I'll just fan them, and then I can narrow it down to a laser, cut their heads off, and it sounds like that's what you're going to be doing with your. I think I'm picking up. That's what I feel. That once you bless it, and there's a certain way to bless it, then you will carry that with you. And then when you go into your altered state, you'll have that in your hand. If you're right-handed, which is an 86% chance you are right-handed, because 86% of the population is right-handed, roughly 13% are left-handed. I know that as a fighter because watch out to the right coming at you. So you're probably going to hold it in your hand when you're in your altered state, and it will go with you into the other dimensions. Does that make sense?
Yep, 100%. I already know. I already know who I'm supposed to get it blessed once I find the right dagger. So
Good.
this person was specifically chosen. So I was like, okay, well, I know where she lives, luckily. So whenever I find it, I'll take it to
Deal.
her. She's very powerful.
Deal.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Oh, okay, Floyd. This has been amazing. I want to touch base again at some point because I'm sure you're going to have more information for us, more stories, more everything. But I want to keep this in like ingestible chunks so people can like listen and like process this information because it is like woo
This is a
out
lot.
there.
This
It's a
is a
lot.
lot. Like I said, 12 years ago, if I heard a man talking like this, I would say, ah, I'd change the channel so quick because, well, I got to go clean my gun and make some more elephant gun loads or make some more long distance sniper rifle loads. Now, this is, I got to go get out on the bag and practice my technique on the bag. This guy, I haven't talked about fairies yet. So it's like, no, this is like, this is that the friends that I had, no, I don't have friends anymore. They think I'm nuts, but they think angels, angels. Come on, you like to lay down with two women at the same time. We worked out deals for you in Mexico. Come on, what are you talking about? Angels? What? And no, they, yeah, a lot of people are absolutely not going to be ready for this, but a lot of people are ready for this. This is the truth. Everything I said, everything you said.
Yeah, no, I agree. That's why I said in the very beginning, I'm like, I'm probably gonna lose some friends because this is like we haven't touched on the power of the trees that you were mentioning. Oh my gosh, like people underestimate the power of trees. Of the birds. The power that they have, how they're messengers. I mean, there's so much more to uncover. But I think for this phase, and I didn't even have a title for it yet, but what you said was a spiritual warfare because there's been a lot of talk of spiritual warfare, but there's not much understanding of what it really is. It's just kind of like high level, like, oh yeah, we're psychic attacks. Well, what is a psychic attack? But this goes deeper and it goes deeper I found it more close to me because it gives me a better understanding of what I'm experiencing and why I'm experiencing. And I'm like, okay, well, what's the next step? What else should I learn from this? Or, how can I improve upon this? Because for me, channeling was my first thing. And then being a medium, psychic medium, channeling has always been very strong. It just flows through me. So when I get these messages, when I met you, I was like, there's a reason why you chose me out of everybody at that event, right? I didn't know what to do with you. I'm like, I'm not gonna read tarot cards on you. I'm like, that's ridiculous. You know your path. I didn't know what to do with you. But things happened, and I'm like, there's a reason why I met this person, and so I need to continue with that to see where that goes because it's obviously, oh, and my ears are just like going full blown pressure. That's how I know that I'm like super connected right now. I get all this pressure in my ears that it's
Oh,
almost painful.
oh,
Um, but anywho's, um, I don't know. We're a team essentially, like a spiritual team because we do the same thing but at different capacities.
thank you for inviting me. Thank you for listening. Thank you for the questions and the opportunity to get the truth out there. Thank you.
For sure. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you. This has been fun.